Hello everyone, I'm Charlie and this is Charlie's Reviews. So I wasn't really planning on doing a review video. Um, if you watch my last two videos, you know I mentioned that my certain books have been late. Never really happened at this shop. I mean, I've been going to this shop for 14 years, so there's never really been any particular problem with them. But this month, they're they've been having a little bit of problem with the shipping company. Logistics got kind of messed up. Fortunately, I got to two shops, so I did get all of this week's books. I wanted to add a couple of books. I only got a few books actually that I wanted to try, but I want to try Dark Horse Presents #1, the third, I believe, the third print version of that anthology book. I wanted to try it out. The shop didn't have it. The other book I wanted to try was Multiversity, uh, and I did pick up another book I wanted to try that came out this week. Um, the reason why I decided not to pick those up is because I expected to get you know those late books, uh, because they told me in this shop that they would be coming on Tuesday. They didn't come on Tuesday. Now they're telling me that everything's back to normal. So last week's books came on Friday, and supposedly they came on Friday. I don't know. I that this week or this past week I don't go to that shop to pick up books, so I don't know if they did arrive. But that's what they told me, or the owner told me, and he said that the late books will be coming in with this coming week's books. Uh, and I asked him exactly when he expected them. He said, Wednesday, Thursday. He said probably Friday. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go on Friday to pick them up, because if my other shop gets their books on Wednesday, those usually go on sale late Wednesday, and so I go on Thursdays because I can't, you know, go late in the afternoon to pick them up. So if that shop gets their books on time, and then I have to go out on Friday to pick up the rest of them. I usually don't like doing double trips. And Friday, um, they arrive, they arrive on Friday could mean um, Friday afternoon, not necessarily Friday morning. So I'm not really willing to take a chance uh, that maybe nope, they don't come on Friday, maybe, or I go to the shop and they tell me they arrive in the afternoon. So I'll probably just pick them up on Monday. And yeah, so that's the situation. The other reason I didn't wanna do a review video was because if you noticed, if you watched my last review video, was supposed to be a two-part video that would cover the rest of the books from the first week of August, because they actually did get some books, but not all of them. Uh, so that was very strange. So I just wanted to wait until I could get those books, uh, shoot um, part two, and then go to episode 5 and 6, which would cover last week's books and this week's, uh, the second week of August, and you know last week's books as well. uh, but I'm just delaying stuff, and you know I am accumulating a, a nice stack here of these books. So I just thought, well, I'll just do this called episode, you know, 6, and do part 2 when, uh, you know, those books arrive, and hopefully, the videos would come more regularly. And I also thought, I would have to do at least 3 videos to cover everything, and I'd just be, uploading way too many videos to close. So I'm gonna actually review this past week's books and the only 2 books that I got from the previous week. Yeah, that would be the second week of August. So I'll probably start with the second week. So I actually got this one back issue, which is season Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 8, issue 23. Okay, so got that. So first up, I'm gonna actually review these two books briefly because I did do the reviews on them on my blog, so you can actually find those in the link below. You can check the full reviews. So I'm just gonna give you my quick thoughts on them. So first up, Justice League United number 4. This is I actually showed this in my last one guy's opinion. This the cover, which is the selfie cover, but I didn't talk about the story. I actually like this. Actually concludes the first arc. Uh, it serves sort of like an epilogue of sorts to that first arc, and sets up a few more things uh, for future storylines. So last issue, Hawkman died in an explosion. So the Rainians the Thundergiants come to pick up Hawkman's body, but they're actually blaming the Rainians for the whole incident because of the whole Ultra project. So they come to an arrangement. So they actually do take the body. As for Ultra, the little alien, uh, it was decided that he should go to Earth, return to Earth with Martian Manhunter because John Jones has pretty much his telepathy is keeping him calm. He doesn't. I mean, he's just a little kid, so he doesn't. So he has a lot of power, so he doesn't really know how to use that power. So John wants to sort of train him for it. So there's a good moment there. It's agreed that he should that he comes to Earth. There's some nice interaction between some characters. My favorite one was between Supergirl and Stargirl, where Supergirl basically tells Stargirl to grow up, stop acting like wide-eyed kid. She basically tells her, "You're in the Justice League. You should behave like it. Don't act like a kid because you be treated like a kid." Um, there's another moment between Green Arrow and Animal Man. The whole Equinox story, finally catches up to this team, right at the very end when they all returned and they decide to establish the team. Um, so that story will continue until October because next month, the whole Futures End 5-year event As for sort of like follow-up setups, Blythe comes with Lobo and attacks the Thanagarian ship that's taking um, Hawkman home to Thanagar. Uh, Blythe actually gives Lobo information as to where his fake Lobo is. Blythe kills everyone on the ship and takes the body, so that should, that's a nice setup for a future story. The other point is concerning Adam Strange and Alana. Apparently, Strange will be stranded on Realm for a while because of the whole sort of feedback loop, the whole Zeta feedback loop that they really can't be together because one would just go back to Tanagar, so he's kind of stranded there. We also learned that Alana and Adam actually married in secret as well. So, I'm really looking forward to, the upcoming storylines. There's a lot of good things there. And I really like the whole dynamic of it. Still liking this book. So, you know, by the way, the art as well. You know, the art by McGowan and the coloring. I'm actually getting used to Mayala doing the coloring. I think he finally sort of adjusted his coloring style to this much more traditional art. Lots of books. Next, Ghost number 7. Um, I'm still enjoying this book. You know, still enjoying this book. The whole exploration. I mean, the whole book really is about Ghost. And the villains she has to face, are connected to her in various ways. Van Gasly, which is the weird, you know, this late TV show host, uh, sort of represents sort of like that typical villain, the guy that does something bad and the hero has to stop. And we had this guy, a hunter, um, him, uh, who is much more has a much more personal connection to Ghost. But so they sort of represent two sides. The superhero side and the more personal side. The more most of the story has been of Ghost, trying to learn more of who she was before she died and was brought back. So you know, Hunter, is employed by a secret organization, an organization that wants the box that brought her back, but we really never did learn too much about that box. So this issue really focuses on trying to find out more about it. Uh, so you know, so that's basically it. Really check out the review for a much more coherent review of this book. Okay, so now we go to this week's books, or this past week's books. Supergirl number 34. Uh, it's a Doom tie-in, but not really. It's more about Supergirl. Uh, I found this issue to be sort of so-so, uh, because nothing at least in my opinion, nothing major happened. Like I said, it's sort of a tie-in, but it doesn't really add to the story at all of the whole crossover. Uh, if you're reading Doom, you might pick up this just to get the story, but really ties in the way you know books used to tie in back 30 years ago, where you know things would happen in a certain book and sometimes they would be reflected in other books but not necessarily have a direct tie to that. uh, so this doesn't really interrupt uh, the story um, at all as to Supergirl's story, but I thought it was kind of uh, a sappy story. She comes crashing down and you know meets this guy, this crippled guy who actually got crippled in a car accident. So for the most part, Supergirl and this kid, they're talking for the most part. Then we have some like montages of Supergirl rescuing people. You know, she's just helping. Uh, until Brainiac's ship also knocks down New York. You know, they get knocked out, and and then we get like the here we get like the ship that showed up at the end of the animals, and we get this, but really not. I mean, the conversation was nice. Supergirl actually found um, his parents who were in Metropolis. Um, yes, we were told that there might be a romantic interest, any romantic interest for Supergirl. So maybe this is it, but we'll never really know because come November we get a new team and Tony Bedard is off the book. Actually, one of the writers for the new book, for the one of the writers for one of the writers for starting in November is Mike Johnson, who was one half of the writing team that relaunched the book. So he's back. Uh, so we really won't know much of what Bedard had in mind. There was actually there was an interview before the solicitations came out, the week prior, I think around Thursday or Friday, where he was talking about all these great plans he had for the book, and then come Monday we get the solicitations and bam, a new creative team is coming on. At least a new writing team is coming on. Emanuele Lupacchino is still like who is supposed to be the regular penciler, still on board. Not that she's really done a lot of the art. Actually, in this book, she's done like a portion of the art, which kind of, I mean, that bothers me that you have a regular artist, but they really don't keep a regular schedule. If they can't handle their job, get someone that does actually. This is a fill-in. The artist here, for example, is by Carl Moline. Um, yeah, Carl Moline, who has done some work for you know Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He actually co-created with Joss Whedon a character called Frey, who's supposed to be Slayer from about 100 years in the future. That's a whole other thing. I actually like the art. I actually like. I was excited. Really like this art and the colors by. It's not the colors here. Oh. hi-fi. You know, I really like the coloring. Slowly pops out. So yeah, I thought it was an okay issue. It's pretty much a nice done one, sort of. Uh, we have the cliffhanger here, so yeah. Next book. So my next book is Teen Titans number 2. I really like this issue. Uh, I kind of get what the writer is trying to do. Will Pfeiffer, it's Will Pfeiffer, is trying to do um, with the book. It's okay. Yeah, so yeah, Will Pfeiffer does is a writer. So anyway, I'm actually liking what he's doing because you know, yeah, the Teen Titans. This is like a continuation of the book, but he's really sort of embraced the idea that this is a new series, so new people might be drawn to come to pick up this book. So what he's doing is, introducing the team um, uh, slowly. This issue focuses on Beast Boy and Bunker. Not a lot of team action, but it kind of reminds me a bit of you know, I mean, none of these characters have their own books, none of them. So this is the only books in which they appear. So they really so like a lot of team books that have characters that don't have their solo books. A lot of character development, their own little stories are built within those pages. I mean, I'm talking, certain uh, issues of Avengers or the Justice League, even Teen Titans themselves, would have stories that would just focus on a few characters from time to time. It's not always, team action. Uh, so it's a good way to introduce the characters to new readers. Uh, but he also allows for the characters to develop a little bit more as well because I read the last volume of Teen Titans and it was just a lot of action. You hardly had these little moments where you would have in which you would deal with a few of the characters, especially if you have a large team. Same could be said, for the Legion of Superheroes. You have to deal with a small group of characters from time to time, and this is a good way to spotlight them. Also, it's pretty much a done in one story, while the larger plot is occurring. So from last issue, uh, they stopped a terrorist attack with the school bus, but it's all been orchestrated. They didn't really capture the leader, so the so part of this issue deals with some of the aftermath of last issue. Bunker, attacking that homophobic bystander. Then you have Red Robin, questioning the actual suicide bomber as well. But really, it falls really into an little adventure with Boy and uh, and Bunker, in which they have to deal with uh, an attack on the Star Lab complex in Manhattan. So they're the only ones that are there, um, that are nearby. So they go on and deal with it, and Bunker. And I'm thinking Will Ferrell actually likes Bunker because he's been really the hero for the past two issues. So he gets you know he's definitely shown that he likes the uh, Bunker. I mean, let me see. It's like like just get some really good. So they actually encounter the leader. Turns out she's a robot or a sort of cyborg. You get this really cool shot here, and here Beast was just telling everyone that Bunker saved the day again. We also learn that these attacks have been planned so that Star Labs would move out of Manhattan to this other complex they have on an island as well. So as it turns out, uh, so we actually get two, maybe three big reintroduction of characters from um, from DC's past. So just trying to find a good page here. Of so wait, sorry. Um, I'm trying to find that page. Sorry about it. So, anyways, uh, well, this character, as I understand it, was from the Alan Moore run in Wildcats. So shows up here. I think it's called Ladytron. I'm not sure. That's what I read somewhere. This is another big one, which is Manchester Black. So this is the New 52, the first New 52 appearance of Manchester Black. The Elite Action Comics 775, his first appearance. Uh, there's another character. Here we go. So yeah, where's the page? So for a look at Manchester Black right here. And this is also another old character from way back, um, which is what's his name? I'm gonna get his name right. Just trying to find his name. Oh, Josiah. Josiah. I believe it's Josiah Power, uh, who was created by Kurt Busiek and had and formed a team called the Power Company. They actually had a short-lived about a short-lived series. So this is another like obscure character making his New 52 first appearance in this book. So I enjoyed this book. I like that we're actually getting these sort of done in one stories with the uh, and still moving the plot along for for the bigger, larger story arc. But yeah, I mean, I like these little spotlight issues. The last new book for me, at least, regular from my regular pull list, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is season 10, issue number 6. Um, I've been enjoying this series. You know, I enjoy the show. It's great that they're continuing it. Yeah, I'm still catching up, like on the past seasons, season 8 and season 9. So I haven't gotten there. This is another sort of the beginning of a new arc, but it's sort of like a done in one as well. Uh, Reminds me of some of the good, great, Buffy episodes where they're actually facing a demon that sort of grants them like their greatest wish. So, but you know, it's really not a good thing. So this issue, you know, it actually also reflects on their situation because you know, you even if you haven't picked up like the previous seasons. Give me a second. It's a little too dark here. It's kind of cloudy. Actually, been having a lot of rain here, so the sunshine isn't always has a short visit with us. So I'm sure it's gonna rain anytime soon. Had some really nice weather in the morning. So anyways, even if you don't haven't read like the past seasons, you really get a good sense of what's going on. So Buffy actually had shared an apartment with some people, but one of their roommates um, moved out. That's all you need to know. And the other roommate that she has, sort of lent them, brought these two new tenants in because apparently rents in San Francisco are really way high, so they really need to get you know so they really need the help to pay the rent. So two new guys move in apparently, and Buffy doesn't really want it, so doesn't really feel comfortable with it. So she decides to move out. She gives notice, but she doesn't have another place to go. Uh, Dawn and Xander, as I mentioned before, have well, no, they were in a relationship, but things have gotten weird. So Dawn is moving out as well, and she gave notice, but she doesn't have a they don't have a place to live as well, because rents are way too high. So they were like into this little dilemma, which leads them, to be told about this house that supposedly is haunted, but it it's actually inhabited by this demon, and pretty much he creates a sort of reality, uh, where you know it brings them some sort of security. This demon actually you know kidnapped or absorbed, took these kids away years ago. Uh, so once so it's a sort of a symbiotic type of demon. Uh, so it sort of grants you that best wish. So, for example, here Buffy and Dawn are back to when they were younger back in high school. We got Giles, who is now a kid because he died in season 8. He was brought back in season 9, but he was brought back like as a 12-year-old kid. So he's sort of reliving his sort of childhood as well. Um, and you know, Spike, goes back to before he became a vampire, with his mother. So they're willingly accept this sort of new reality. Then Xander and Willow show up later because Willow was she had a job. She lost her job for from some events from that happened in season 9. Xander was working in construction, so they go to this house and they're also taken in. But so Xander kind of gets he's a functional family, I guess, but he sort of recognizes it as being false. So and so does Willow. That they realize that as Sandra puts it, they were got retconned back to who they were in high school. And Will says, yeah, I mean, I liked high school, but you know it was fun, but I don't really wanna I don't really miss those days. It was fun, high school. So they're the only ones that aren't really in in enthralled in the spell. Give me a second. A little too bright. Okay. Um, so at first, Buffy, and Xander and Willow help get Buffy out of the spell. And everybody really comes out of it except Giles, which we learned that he didn't really have a chance to have a normal childhood because his father sent him to watcher training since he was very young. Um, so he was the one that was harder you know, to to break up the spell, but he does, and pretty much that's where the story ends. The kids that were trapped there actually also come out, so things are apparently looking good. So we really enjoy this issue. I mean, I think you could really pick up any of these Buffy books, and you really get uh, you know a nice full story, and you don't really you might and I find them very accessible. There's stuff I missed, but kind of I it's very self-explanatory. I guess that that word I would say. I like the art in this issue as well. The coloring, it's really great. So, uh, sorry about that. Uh, so, last but not least, I decided to try a new book. Uh, that uh, sorry if it's getting a little bit long. Says you try Miss Marvel. Uh, so a while back, uh, I think when issue 6 came out, there was a conversation going on in Twitter about the book, and I jumped in, telling them, that I'm telling who was there. I don't remember who was talking. I think it was like Sleepy Reader was there. I think who else was there? I don't remember. Uh, but I think a Comic Girl was there. Mr. CDC as well, I think. Odd Fellow Stats. I think that those were the guys, the people talking on Twitter, and I jumped in just telling them, wow, I'm in the way people are talking about this book. I think I'm actually missing something great. Uh, and everybody was, yeah, you should try it. You should get the trade. And you know the thing with this book is that you know there are various printings. So you know I think last week the the sixth printing of the first issue is out. Uh, there are a few issues at my shop as well. So okay, sure, I'll pick up issue six. I think that's the issue I need to pick up. I didn't see it in my shop. So whether deciding if I should get Multiversity or this book, that Multiversity is a little bit higher. This is a 2.99 book. I'll give it a shot, and I loved it. It's a fun book. I find it incredibly accessible as well. Kamala's introduction with Wolverine sort of gave me everything that I need to know about the character. Her whole backstory, is being told. So, you know, that helped. I mean, this is a part two of a two-part story. I mean, even Marvel has been doing this for a while as well you know, a lot of indie books. They usually have this little sort of synopsis there. So that also helped. But everything I needed to know, it's really said, in this first page, first in the splash page, and as I read it, I enjoyed the character. Because I found the story enjoyable. You know, it's it's a fun book. I have to give you guys that. It's a fun book. This feeling art, I liked it as well. I'm very particular about certain artists, but somehow uh, you have to have certain art. Has to really good art. Sometimes it has to reflect the tone of the book, and this feeling artist did a really good job. You get the lightheartedness of it. It's fun, it's funny. Although I have a problem with this page when I first read it, because you have to read from the bottom, right hand corner to the to here. Uh, but besides that, I really enjoyed it, and I'll be trying to catch up on this book. I don't think I can wait for the trade, and I don't usually buy trades. If I can get the books, the individual issues, I do that, and there are tons of printings of this book, so of of the first issues. So I think when you have a book that is continuing. I mean, I think this is Marvel's biggest success because uh, this book not only does it get rave reviews, but if it's a, a book that has multiple printings, that means that people are really, you know, picking this book up, and more people are picking this book up. It's the number one seller on the digital as well. So that's that's a successful book, a book that is continually being printed. It means that people have read up about the book and people are curious about the book, and people are actually ordering their shops, they're asking their shops to get them uh, copies of these of the issues. So you know you know I wish there were more books like this out there, that people, you know sorry that people are actually liking, and you know you know that are fun, that are accessible, that you know has a lot of good stuff. I mean, you have your big events, but you know those are sort of short-term sort of things, uh, for events. Uh, but when you have like one series that you have a demand for because it's so well written, and you know and has a really enjoyable character, and it speaks to a wide variety of people, uh, that's better than any event book out there. uh, so yeah, I've been going on for too long now, but wanted to really get this stack off of my you know mind, you know because I just keep accumulating books. And anyways, one last thing I want to do. Okay, so you can find my blog the reviews for these two books. Okay, so this week you have until um, let's say Wednesday, because I want to give you time. I will be reviewing two books on my blog. In my blog, at my blog. I'll be reviewing two books. I'll be posting two reviews on the blog this week. Um, so I'm gonna give you until Wednesday. Not a contest, but I don't usually. I usually try to review all books, but that was kind of difficult. So to end, uh, I mean, I really enjoyed all of these books. So but I don't know which books I want to review on the blog. So of these four books, Supergirl number 34, uh, Titan number 2, uh, Buffy number 6, and Miss Marvel number 7. Tell me which two books do you want me to review on the blog. You have until Wednesday. The book that gets the two books that get the most votes, I will review on the blog, and those reviews should be coming up on Thursday and Friday. So you have until like let's say Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. I think it's around 6 Pacific. So just write which two books you want me to review, uh, and the ones that get the most votes will be reviewed. So I repeat again: Supergirl number 34, Titans number 2, Puffy number 6, and Midnight number 7. So check out the blog for the reviews of Justice League United and Ghost. Sorry it's taken very long, but try to be as brief as possible. But yeah, sometimes I couldn't. I can't. I have to speak too much, talk too much, speak whatever. I'm rambling on here. So until next time, keep smiling.